What if I told you that some storms don't just bring rain? That sometimes, when the sky opens and the water falls endlessly, something else falls with it. Something you can't explain. Something that watches. Something that waits for the one mistake. The moment you dare to look outside. Tonight's storm was one of those storms. The rain began a little after midnight. Not a drizzle, not even a normal storm. It was a flood of water hammering against the earth as though the sky itself had cracked wide open. The sound was deafening, like fists beating down on the roof. Relentless, merciless. Emily sat curled on the couch in her old wooden house on Main, watching droplets race each other down the glass of her living room window. The storm should have been comforting. She had always liked rainy nights, the kind where you could stay inside, warm and safe. But tonight felt different. Her house creaked with every gust of rain. The lights flickered more times than she could count, buzzing, with an almost living irritation. Each time they blinked, Emily felt her stomach tighten. What unsettled her most wasn't the storm itself. It was what was missing. There was no thunder, no lightning, no rush of wind between raindrops. Just the endless downpour, pounding without pause, like 1,000 hands beating on every surface around her. And beneath the rain was something else that at first she ignored it. She told herself it was nothing, just her imagination trying to make patterns out of chaos. But then she heard it again. A faint rhythm. A pattern too steady to be chance. Footsteps, heavy, deliberate, splashing in puddles outside her front door. Her chest tightened. Who in their right mind would be walking outside in this storm? She forced a nervous laugh. Maybe it was just runoff dripping from the gutters, pooling and dripping onto the porch. Yeah, that had to be it. She tried turning on the TV for distraction, but the screen only filled with static. Cable lines must have been knocked out by the storm. The static hiss filled the living room, blending with the roar of the rain. Her cell phone had no signal. She checked it twice, moving near the window, raising it higher like that might pull some invisible bar of service from the storm. Nothing. And then, her landline rang. The sound split through the storm like a knife. Emily jumped, staring at the phone on the wall. She couldn't even remember the last time it had rung. Her heart pounding, she picked it up. Hello? Her voice trembled, static. She frowned, pressing the receiver tighter to her ear. Hello? Who is this? And then she heard it. A whisper. So faint, she almost thought it was part of the static. Don't open the curtains. If you see them, they'll come inside. Emily froze. Her mouth went dry, words catching in her throat. What? Who is this? But the line went dead. Only the storm remained. Her breathing came faster. She backed away from the phone, staring at the curtains over the window. Her body screamed not to touch them. But the footsteps outside had grown louder. They circled the house. Slow, heavy, never stopping. Round and round. Her pulse throbbed in her ears. Each step outside seemed to echo inside her skull. And then, silence. No footsteps. Only rain. That silence was worse than the sound. Hand trembling, she reached for the curtain. She told herself it was better to look, better to know if someone was there. Just a quick glance, just to prove she was alone. She pulled the curtain, just an inch, and her stomach turned twice. Through the sheets of rain, they stood, figures, dozens of them. Pale, thin bodies standing perfectly still in her yard, unmoving, despite the storm drenching them to the bone. Their heads tilted up, their eyes wide, their faces locked onto her window. Emily stumbled back, nearly tripping over the coffee table. Her hand clutched the phone again as though it might protect her. The receiver hissed once more. The whisper returned. Now louder, closer. Now they know you can see them. Her hand went numb. The phone slipped from her fingers and hit the floor with a dull thud. She couldn't look away. One of the figures twitched. Its head jerked too sharply to the side, like a broken marionette. Another bent its neck back, and she heard the crack of bone even through the storm. And then, together, they smiled. Dozens of wide, stretched, unnatural grins. The house lights flickered. Once, twice, and then the world went black. Emily was swallowed in darkness. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think, only listen. The rain roared, the floorboards creaked, and then the front door lock clicked. Her breath caught. The knob turned slowly. Metal against metal. Click, click. The door groaned as it began to open. Emily scrambled backward, into the corner of the room, heart pounding, tears spilling down her face. She whispered into the phone lying on the floor, praying someone, anyone, would hear her. What do I do? But the line was dead, and the only sound left was the rain.